Ladies and gentlemen, a Clinton-appointed judge, a Bill Clinton-appointed judge, went ahead and threw out former President Trump's racketeering lawsuit, a sprawling lawsuit against Clinton, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, everyone involved, even Debbie Wasserman Schultz, in setting him up and framing him, which is what they did with a Steele dossier purchased by Clinton. So I'm going to read you an article from the Maddow blog, which is very amusing, written by one of the producers. Excellently, wonderfully written article. The only problem is that it's not accurate. Most of it is completely inaccurate, and most of it is projection. What they do with Trump is try to intimidate him or anyone around him by investigating, by having Democrats in New York, in Georgia, in D.C., throughout the country investigate him endlessly, a Democratic attorney general. Okay, so it starts off with, when Donald Trump threatens to sue a perceived foe, the rhetoric is often hollow. Not really, but okay. The Republican likes to occasionally try to intimidate people into submission. This is what Democrats are doing with him. They haven't stopped investigating him. They investigated him when he became president. You had an outgoing Democratic administration investigating an incoming president. They have not stopped since he first entered the Oval Office. Actually, even before then. The Republican, his allusions to litigation with no real intention to follow through are his ways of thumping his chest. No, he was set up and framed with a Steele dossier purchased by Clinton. These are people who texted, "We'll stop Trump." Now, Peter Strzok, for example, said, "We'll stop Trump." The Durham Probe Special Counsel was created in 2019. The Inspector General report, the Horowitz report that's referenced on MSNBC and referenced even by the judge in throwing out the racketeering case, stated, the Inspector General found that there was probable cause and it was an authorized investigation. The Inspector General didn't have any of the evidence of bias against Trump. I don't believe the Inspector General looked at the Peter Strzok text stating, "We'll stop Trump," before he finished his report. I know the Inspector General did not have any of the Durham Probe indictments. The Sussman indictment, the Kleinsmith indictment where Kleinsmith pled guilty to falsifying records. Actually deceased. So Kevin Kleinsmith, a top agent at the Bureau, pled guilty. So the Inspector General didn't have that. And we know that the Inspector General didn't have the indictment on 5 counts of lying to the Bureau by Danchenko, the Steele subsource. But we don't the Sussman indictments has a clear picture of what took place. The reason that he was acquitted, that the MSNBC article doesn't talk about, is that the text message where he literally lies and says, "I'm not coming on behalf of anyone. I just want to be a good patriot," or whatever it says. The jury did not see that, or the jury was not allowed to utilize that to form their verdict. Okay, they could see it but not utilize it. It was very bizarre because the Durham Probe couldn't write a superseding indictment because the text message where he actually lies was acquired after a certain point. So hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, right now. You're going to get the full picture. So here, hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. To my new Patreons, thank you so much. And to my super thanks. I had an amazing super thanks last segment, so thank you so much. It's below under the like and the share buttons. But here, last summer, Trump sued social media giants. Yeah, he's banned on every platform for no reason. He was never indicted on January. It was never proved in a court of law that his words incite any chaos or mayhem. That's the opinion of his direct political rivals, who write letters to social media companies to silence and censor even the New York Post. So, okay, around the time last lawsuit, former came up with a related idea. Trump sued Hillary Clinton and several other Democrats. Allegedly, they tried to, 2016 presidential election by bringing attention to his Russia scandal. The Russia scandal was completely fabricated. You don't need this. Okay, if the judge threw out the lawsuit, that does not mean it wasn't fabricated. If Horowitz, in his opinion, the inspector general said, well, we couldn't find any prosecutorial or testimonial bias because he didn't get Strzok's text message, "We'll stop Trump," so he didn't use that in his final conclusion, okay, or assessment. That doesn't mean that they weren't after Trump. The bottom line is the ODNI and DHS reports that nobody has read at the Washington Post come with a high to moderate confidence assessment, okay? The judge here, the Clinton judge, and they went after a Trump-appointed judge for a special master. The Washington Post even did a hit piece on who is this judge. But they're not. Where's the hit piece from the Washington Post about the judge that threw out the lawsuit today? You're not going to see one because that's not the way Democrats roll. When Democrats and media, which is an extension of the Democratic Party, get what they want, oh, it's no problem at all. Oh, it's fantastic. But then when they don't get what they want, who is this judge? There goes respect and reverence and trust for our democratic institutions, but for the fundamental, the basis of our democracy. But anyway, so by any measure, the lawsuit was utterly bonkers. The fact that you would investigate an incoming president under accusations by an outgoing intelligence agency, a Democratic Party's intelligence agency, or a Democratic administration's intel agencies, it's utterly bonkers if you ask me, and half the country. You don't investigate an incoming president because James Clapper still can't find evidence in 2017 when he told Chuck Todd. He said, we don't have any direct evidence. They had a high to moderate confidence assessment. You don't investigate an incoming president. These are the people who talk about Trump with norms and traditions. They trampled and completely ripped apart norms and traditions. But here, Fox News encouraged its viewers. Well, you don't think MSNBC, CNN, the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Atlantic, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, The Nation, Mother Jones, the New Yorker, New York Magazine encourage their viewers and readers? You have a public relations monstrosity. You can only point to Fox News. The suit certainly has serious goals. Trump claimed the Russia scandal cost him $120. Unfortunately for the president, he will not be collecting any money through this case. As Axios reported, a U.S. judge has thrown out former President Trump's lawsuit against presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, saying the former president is seeking to flaunt a 200-page political manifesto outlining his grievances against those that have opposed him. Okay, the judge actually makes a point because there has to be specific. The accusations or the allegations have to relate specifically to Clinton purchasing the Steele dossier. Okay? Well, we're going to get that. We're going to get that with the Danchenko trial. He'll get at least one conviction out of 5 counts. But the fact that a dossier purchased by Clinton's direct political rival, I said this when he first sued everybody, I said he's probably going to have to wait until investigations in the House, when Trump Republicans investigate, when Durham investigates more people, indicts more people, a lot more people, and gets some convictions. He got essentially a plea deal. He would have gotten a conviction with Kleinsmith. And then with Sussman, the only reason he wasn't convicted is because that text message wasn't allowed to be used in the final verdict. Sussman did lie, but see again, the Baker and all these people at the Bureau were in on it. But here, you have a dossier purchased by his direct political rivals, utilized by people more than willing to go after Trump, in a Democratic Party administration outgoing. We should trust the Democratic Party officials. We should trust them, MSNBC, because they're so honest. They don't even have a functioning primary. And you saw what a Democrat did in Nevada, or might have done, okay, to a journalist. Why should we trust Democrats? So then they say, well, it was, it's worth emphasizing that American courtrooms are not supposed to be abused by politicians. Well, then why are you going after Trump in New York, in Georgia, in D.C.? Why are you going after Trump with Attorney General Merrick Garland? My God. All Democrats against Trump for 6 years. Why is Peter Strzok and why are these people writing books and Democrats are buying them? Why is Clapper and Brennan and McCabe? Why is McCabe on CNN? Oh, okay. Second, in April, Trump's lawyers asked Middlebrook to recuse herself. Okay, why didn't she recuse herself? Oh, okay. It's okay when a Clinton judge takes a dump on Trump, but not when a Trump judge doesn't even do anything but offers a special master to decipher what should be removed, what's personal for Trump. My God, oh my God. In other words, when Trump and his lawyers filed this foolish case, they appear to have been judge shopping. Oh, as opposed to when, God forbid, you didn't like, and who is the Trump judge, Trump appointed. This is hilarious. This is a producer at the Maddow blog. Why was this? I would love for anyone at MSNBC to answer the following questions. Why did the U.S. government use a dossier purchased by Trump's direct political rival in Hillary Clinton? Why did the U.S. government use a high to moderate confidence assessment, not a guarantee, with the ODNI and DHS reports? Why didn't the government ask for DNC servers when they made the conclusion that Russia wanted to hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus swinging people towards Trump? Then there's a million other questions. You can go on. I mean, there was a Clinton public relations executive that literally worked with Danchenko, the Steele subsource. What was a Clinton public relations executive doing there? Clinton, in a court of law in the Sussman trial, actually was accused of sharing false information to media. Why did she share false information to media regarding the Alpha Bank nonsense? There's a million questions to ask. Why did Comey state that although there's potential violations of the legal statutes, we're not going to indict Clinton because no reasonable prosecutor would indict? Give me a break. He'll refile the lawsuit, but it'll be after Durham probe indictments, convictions, and investigations in the House. I do agree with the judge in that there needs to be a little bit more evidence when making the sweeping claims. Trump has enough evidence currently. I mean, the Mueller probe, this is one question I would ask MSNBC. Why wasn't Trump indicted for January, for colluding with the Kremlin, for pressuring people in Georgia, for Stormy? Because they have nothing. Why wasn't Clinton indicted or Hunter? Because they're Democrats. Big difference. Give me your thoughts below. Mueller found nothing in a court of law to indict Trump. It was a complete political hit job. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now to my super thanks. Thank you so much